Hello, most esteemed viewers. My name is Jekyllstein Gray, and today we are playing one of the most criminally underrated games I've ever played. I haven't finished it yet, but this is a homework communism video, so for those of you who don't know, Homework Communism is a series where I play the games I was assigned. I record the games I was assigned for my tutorial, and then I spread them amongst the proletariat. That's why I call it Homework Communism. Yeah. So this game is. I found this game basically by just searching the Gothic tag and scrolling through. And I saw this, and I was like, "Hey, this looks interesting." And then it looked really good, and yeah. So I played like a half hour of it. So I played the first half hour. The rest of it I have not played. So, you okay? Okay, here we go. So here we go. We're in a dark little void, and we're walking up here. So this game literally has like 4 Steam reviews right now. Monday, January 10th, 1981, 11:48 p.m. Ain't right, the elderly caretaker had said, nosing around his keepsake at this hour. Why, you asked? My train leaves for London early tomorrow morning. I have no time for superstition. I know I'm reading it out for the esteemed viewers game. I know how to click to choose. You'll conjure up a ghost or something in the dark. Give yourself a fright, the caretaker sighed. Vincent, Mr. Tresillian said. You shook your head and smiled. So this is an interesting mix of like interactive fiction and first-person storytelling. And it's also a little Gothic tale, so all stuff I love. I'm going to leave the caretaker in silence. 2 days previous, the patriarch of this grand family home, Vincent Tresillian, died. He was survived only by his late sister's children, a niece and 2 nephews, all just beginning adulthood. You have been employed as family attorney to execute the will, a job completed once you have inventoried the items bequeathed by their uncle. So you have to decide, yeah. Anyway, we'll see that in a second. For the past couple of years, Mr. Tresillian refused to leave his chamber. All his valued possessions lie inside the room in which he lived and died. So it's interesting because that was kind of a continue button, and oh wow, and the lighting changes as soon as we move. So it changes from sepia to more realistic looking. I also really like this art style, this low poly. I remember being like legitimately unnerved when I played this. Not at this part, but later. Oh, and here's the other cool thing: you can actually type in the names. Let's see here. The bar. What's a good name for? It's called the Nevermore Raven. This is the same problem I had last time. How do I... Friggin' A! I can't... This is my biggest complaint about the game from what I remember. I can't remember how to... Yeah. So now I think it's gonna act weird. You open the wardrobe, but it's a minor point. I also really like the idea. I just wish it was executed a bit better, and it's not even the idea is executed poorly. It's just that There's that one thing that messes it all up and I get fixated on. Open the wardrobe to find Vincent Tressilian's collection of outfits. Most are black, for that was the fashion that came upon him in his waning years. Each garment bore witness to a story. The exodus of the Duke of Windermore's winter solstice. What was the Duchess thinking to hold her summer party in spring? Where would a minor royal acquire so many corpses anyway? Wait, what? The exodus of the Duke of... Okay. Old clothes are of little monetary value, but one might find nostalgic pleasure in owning them. They were left to the niece, who, being of a similar sartorial inclination to her uncle, might find new life for the outfits after some alteration. Yet more tales to be observed. They were left to the elder nephew, who sees no value in sentimentality, and would see that they find a new home amongst the less deserving. We're gonna leave him to the elder nephew. Because that would do the most good. So here we have a little spooky thing. We've got this random figure staring at the afternoon. My caretaker came to me one late Friday afternoon. Mr. Tressilian, sir, if it pleases you, may I have this evening off? Of course you may, Johan. Jovan? I don't know. I'm sorry. It's even worse than Getya. Of course you may, Johan. That's just how I'm going to say it. I said over my newspaper, are you headed to the fete? I am, sir, yes. Taking anyone with you? Yes, I will be meeting a friend. A friend? A lady friend, is it? In a matter of speaking, sir. Oh, I see. Johan left me for the evening, leaving me alone to... So this is from I think this is supposed to be from the perspective of the guy who died. Leaving me alone to my demons, and I retired to my chamber to consider my oblivion. Live with the pain. You look out the window onto the street below. It is dark and raining heavily, but in the glow of a solitary street lamp, you think you can make out a figure. About as tall as you are, its features are impossible to determine, but it is staring at you. There's something off about the figure, almost human. It looks kind of, it kind of reminds me of, how they describe Frankenstein's monster. I need to continue my Wonder of Frankenstein's Creature series, but I've got a lot to do, esteemed viewers. And this was on a time limit. I have to have I don't have to have this done, but I have to at least have played this by tomorrow afternoon, although I'm probably going to stop playing later in a bit today, and then play. Anyway. It is a thing. You pull yourself away and conclude the foul staring contest. Looks kind of like an alien to me. Like a gray alien. Alrighty. Let us light this candle. Vincent, my mother said to me, why did you hit that boy? I was 9 years old. It remains a formative memory. He pushed me and he called me names. Did you tell a teacher about this? They said I was making it up. My mother nodded. What did the boy look like as you beat him? He was crying. And as he called you names, No, I'm sorry, Anne. No, my mother said, I know. Sometimes violence is the answer. Well, I think violence is sometimes justified. I don't think that's the case in this situation. You search Vincent's dresser. It is filled with clothes of middle to decent quality, though all long out of fashion. Shirts, underpants, trousers. No, not trousers. Pantaloons. Ooh, fancy. Pantaloons. As you are about to give up uncovering an item not worth noting in your inventory, you feel a small box at the bottom of the sock drawer. Small wooden plane. You open it to find a folded piece of paper inside. The paper, read it. An illegible smear of text. Water must have gotten onto the letter. I will be taking the train to Dover in the morning. It is the 8:49? That is a very specific time for a train to leave. I don't expect you to be there to say goodbye. All things end, for good or bad, and for a time we were happy. I don't agree with your decision, but I understand it. Your family and career have always come first. At least we were happy. Perhaps one day people will understand. A. Moving letter to its hiding place. So he didn't want to see it. I love it how you have to. Time moves as you move. It's like Super Hot, which I have also started playing, and I also need to finish before the Halloween event ends. One thing at a time, Jekyllstein. One thing at a time. Okie dokie. What else do we gotta look? Whoa! All right. So this is. I think this game also uses jump cuts. In a way. Wait, what? Raven. Okay. There's one word, esteemed viewers, that you're probably really the pro-modern. So remember how I've played. I said I played this game before, and I also had trouble, typing for some reason. I was trying to call the bar the postmodern Prometheus, as kind of a take on the subtitle of Frankenstein. But somehow it messed up, and that was in the last game, so I don't know why it's coming up as new game. But also, what am I playing as here? And what is this freaky looking bug? Someone was thumping on the front door. Just a moment, Thomas shouted. He hastened through the dark-lit houses as he tied his robe, then threw open the door. Ada, what in heavens is it? The woman at the door struggled to catch her breath. It's your wife, she said. What about Elizabeth? I had a dream, Thomas snorted. A dream? You wake me up on a perfectly splendid Sunday morning because you had a bad dream? Listen, hysterical woman. Oh, I feel gross just saying that. Out with it, then! What was this fantasy about? I stood in the middle of a circle in a field. Everywhere around me was a red mist, except for the circle. The mist clung to the ground and flickered like it was made of fire. Then everything it touched turned to pink dust and floated away. There was singing like an orchestra being tuned, but with a human voice. I turned around and saw a sickening white shape. Is this like the figure that I saw earlier? Its form was like a mockery of your wife. The mist seemed to be coming from it, falling down its contours like a cloak. It flickered like the mist, but stood perfectly still. Then came flashes. I saw blood, a strange vase. I saw an iron beast consume a rustic village. I saw a lawyer nearly... Ida, you're talking nonsense. Please, I have to see her. You've never wanted to see her before. Please, Thomas. He sighed, then smiled. Fine! If it will cure you of this fantasy. Thomas led Ada upstairs and to the chamber. Outside hung a metal key. He unlocked the door and stepped inside. Thomas looked around. He admired his pristine carpets and brand-new dresser. Above him hung the portrait of himself he had commissioned. Distinguished. Aristocratic. Then he looked to the bed. Sheets crinkled, a cushion on the floor, a small but visible stain on the pillow. Where's Elizabeth? Alright, so that's saving. And they don't quit without, when you see this thing, symbol is awesome in this game. As a young man, I spent some time in Paris. There were myriad attractions for a junior officer and many opportunities for disgrace. The evening I most recall was when I stole a pistol of a famous duelist. His name was Clemence. Her name was Clemence, apologies. Though she did not live up to her namesake. We had been told no man had been hurt in a French duel for 40 years, barring one fool American. So it was with no fear that Henry accepted her challenge, a contest for the heart of some gentle mademoiselle. By some miracle he survived being shot in the chest, while she escaped unscathed. There was such commotion, and in the description I sought to pilfer her weapon, lest Henry want a memento. He did not. Live with the pain. A neat pile of logs and kindling lined the fireplace. Perhaps the caretaker was not so inhospitable after all. Why not? Light the fire. Take the fire from Braga. I knelt down and set the wood ablaze. The walls jittered in pain. It's interesting how spooky games, it's common knowledge that, or it's a thing commonly understood. It's a fact commonly understood that any I don't know. Opening of, I think it's Pride and Prejudice? I don't know. There's common wisdom, and I think justified, that lower quality graphics can increase the spooky factor by obscuring things, and I think that's definitely true. And it's weird how I haven't seen very many horror games try this particular low poly aesthetic. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. Standing back up, you turn around to see the fire has done little to illuminate the room, and this darkness is not the mere absence of light. It is something thicker. Swirling it alive, and you just heard it. Ooh, boy. Maybe I should not have done that. But I did. Is that the aristocratic picture? What's Happened by Elizabeth Tressilian. When little Liz Huddibble was born in a destitute mining town, I didn't think anyone figured much of me. My father raised me as well as he could, but he couldn't afford to keep 3 daughters. I met a lad called Tommy, and when I was of age we married. He joined the army like his dad, and I waited for him while he sought his fortune. When he told me his plan to steal a piece of nobility for ourselves, I agreed wholeheartedly and helped him carry out the... Okay, so I was thinking of it as like... I probably shouldn't. I was thinking of it as just one letter, but apparently you have to write a whole story. A portrait. What is with the flickering, the moving letters? Am I just going crazy, esteemed viewers? Portrait of Vincent's great-grandfather, Thomas Tressilian. He was not the conventional Georgian gentleman. Despite the disadvantages of death, he remains patriarch in absentia, for it is he that took them out of poverty and began their marital tradition, making their name. He who married so far above his station, forging an aristocratic line. It is he who still defines the family conduct. And all wish to live up to his memory, and like him, not allow any to degrade their position. His countenance is remarkably similar to that of Vincent Tressilian. It was left to the elder nephew who intends to surpass his predecessor. It was left to her, the niece, for whom her great-great-grandfather was everything she aspires. Left to the younger nephew who seeks to bury the traditions that created them. Okay, I'm just giving it to people who agree with my politics. I'm just gonna embrace that. I love that effect of, like, slowly going out of sepia tone. What's this? France, August 16th, 1918. Dear Mr. Tressilian, it is my duty to inform you that a report has this day been received from the War Office on the condition of your nephew, Sidney Leoness Tressilian Lansdell. During an attack made on the German position last Thursday, August 8th, Major... this is right before the war ended, too. 8th Major Lansdell of the 1st Cavalry Division was hit by a piece of a shell and wounded severely. He was taken to a hospital in haste and has been receiving care. However, I am informed that his chances of survival are low. His brother, Lieutenant Lansdell, has been unable to take time from the Admiralty to visit the Major. He has been attended by his commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Sanderson, who wishes to pass on his sincere condolences. Live with the pain. The pain must be lived with. The photograph is of a man in his early 30s. It is worn and faded as if taken long ago. There is no family resemblance to Vincent as far as you can tell. You pick up the picture. It is remarkably clean of dust and ash compared to the other items near the fireplace. Carefully sliding the photograph out of the frame, you examine the back. To remember me by, we will see each other in another life, Alphonse. The item is not mentioned in the will. Perhaps you should just leave it here. So wait, do attorneys, get to just, straight up decide who gets what? I don't think that's the case, but then again, I don't know. Whatever, I can accept it. I just thought that was interesting. Alrighty, well, that's the thing. There's a lot to interact with here. Anything in here? I sat at the bar of my London club. What will it be? The bartender asked. What will it be? The bartender asked, casting a disapproving glance toward my gentle companion. Champagne iced, he replied. And for you, sir? The bartender turned to me. Alcohol was not my vice, so I said... non-alcoholic apple cider. Alrighty. A camphor trunk from the island of Java. Its contents are of no value, spare sheets and covers. The trunk itself, however, is an object much desired. Delicate depictions of devilish detail. Okay, that was... They went overboard on the alliteration. Delicate depictions of devilish detail adorned the lid. A sketch sent to the valuers was much discussed. Were they religious or merely decorative symbols? Looking now upon the object, you feel they have some deeper purpose. As children, the eldest nephew and niece would amuse themselves with the trunk. Once they played hide-and-seek with a visiting third cousin. The boy was no more than 5. A maid who was dusting the room swore she saw the child enter the trunk and never left in the few minutes it took for nephew and niece to look inside. It contained only sheets and covers. No, I'm actually not going to give this to the youngest nephew, because I don't want him to destroy this beautiful thing. Let's leave it to the niece. Oh man, the eldest nephew is going to be so pissed at me. Whoa. Okay, here we have another cut. So yeah, here we get one of the spookier elements. Oh, so I guess you have to find the... I still don't understand how progression necessarily works in this game. Which is interesting. I think it's you have to find all the stuff to... I think you have to find all the stuff to, like... come on, there we go. I think you have to find the stuff you need to decide on who to give. I love the lighter idea. It really fits the aesthetic, and the fact that you actually have to, like, as soon as I let go of the mouse, though I can't see myself in the mirror. Am I a vampire? I mean, I am a vampire. I, Jekyllstein Grey, am a vampire, but I don't know about the character I'm playing. Oh man, I need to finish my Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines series. Go watch it and start bugging me in the comments if you want to see more of that. So I also love that this is something you probably don't get in the video Steam viewer, but I have to like hold down the mouse, the left click button. Like you would have to hold down the thing you scroll on the lighter. I don't know what it's called. So that's cool. I like it. What do we got? Whoa! I wonder if this game is intentionally kind of obtuse. The Nevermore Raven. Let's see. So then we're out of bounds of the world again. I feel like this is probably going to make sense later. I hope it will. There's another like problem with postmodern. With the non-alcoholic. So then it's just a bunch of words. And what is this thing? Mango. Oh yeah, I think I put like mango nectar or something in my last playthrough. It's interesting how it saves also what I said in the last playthrough. The hunchman dragged himself to the polished wooden stairs. He gasped as he neared the top, placing a hand over his right breast. The wound had never truly healed. He conquered the last few steps, then straightened back to his imposing height. From within the room, his heavy footsteps could be heard, louder and louder. They stopped. The brass handle of the door turned, then shook. Don't know why it's so... The spaces are so far apart, but whatever. Samuel, unlock this door, the voice boomed. Inside the room, a young man sat cross-legged on the floor, motionless. For God's sake, the voice outside snapped. I wonder why outside is capitalized. There was a bang as he tried to force the door open. The young man remained motionless. You're acting like a child. Your wife and your stepbrother are worried wretched. Where did you learn to be such a brat? The young man remained motionless. The final time he tried turning the brass handle, there was a sigh and the heavy steps again, getting quieter. Everything was silent once more. A small gust of wind came from under the door, scattering the papers that carpeted the floor. Quoth the raven nevermore. One landed on the smoldering fireplace and began to burn. The last words cremated were, "To my boy." Above the fireplace, the painting of the father knelt down, as a juttering, not human, knelt by his only son. She felt his ice-cold cheeks and let the body be. Oh, that's sad. That's not a pipe. My Father's Family by Samuel Trevelyan. I don't remember when it became clear that it wasn't like other boys. I wasn't old money. I don't remember when we moved into the house we, after minutes of residency, called our ancestral home. Nor when my mother was swapped for a nobler wife. Wow, okay. She knew the lie, I'm sure of it. She knew that we hadn't spent as long exploiting a working class as the other noble families. Many letters have been crafted here. Not an unsociable man, Vincent nonetheless preferred the measured pace of mail to the ad lib momentum of a physical conversation, or worse, the stilted miscommunications of the telephone. Vincent sounds like my kind of guy. A few scraps of paper are scattered around, drafts of thank you replies to letters concerning his failing health. Here lies a letter to the editor of the local periodical, correcting them on some detail of an article on the colonies. Looking closely, you can make out words marked on wood through paper by a man with a firm but impatient hand. The desk well needed a quick buff and polish in fair condition. Vincent had acquired it only recently, replacing the one which belonged to his mother, Anne. It was the last thing that remained from her disappearance. Oh man, my accent slipped. God damn it. Alright. It was left to the niece. Oh, this is the desk. Niece or younger nephew? I'm gonna go with younger nephew. Look, he's gonna be a great writer someday. He's gonna lead he's gonna start a whole new left-wing political theory. Dear Vincent, thank you for allowing me to stay at the estate over the summer. You were a gracious host, and I found Penzance to be most agreeable this time of year. I am the very modern lover, modern made. Come on, I had to do that. I have given some thought to what you told me. While I profess not to be an expert in these matters, I fear you may be reading too much into our history. My great-great-grandfather, while a noble and intelligent man, was not one for keeping intricate records. To be truthful, I am not sure there to be a family of standing in all of England who could fully explain the origins of their wealth. I hope this does not displease you. This is simply my view on the matter. Your adoring niece, Frances. Live with the pain. Live with the pain. Vincent Trevelyan's collection of medals testifying his long service to the Empire in the Anglo-Zulu and First Boer War I don't know how to pronounce that one either. His sister had hoped to spare her children from the family's military tradition, for it had taken too many of her brothers. The one that remained she no longer recognized. Yet creation has a way of taking blood owed it from ancient transgression and ill-favored deals. Alright, so I'm not going to give it to the younger nephew when he didn't want it. We'll throw the older nephew a bone. Alright, there goes the lighter. I'm gonna screenshot this. This might be the thumbnail for this video. Let's see. There we go. 8 pages written. What the? Why is there a death? Why is there a skull that represents death? After the incident, after I had willfully blighted each thing and each person that made me whole, I boarded the vessel back to the colonies. Her Majesty's ship Ibcombi, the Pokemon now, I think it was called, Captain Hewitt's command, a friend of the family, one assumes he kept my father informed of the situation. The journey was bleak. I kept at a safe distance from the other souls. A British soldier does not cry, so I shouted and punched and whined and raged and cried. Live with the pain. You can't just rewrite the past. It needs to be preserved. Vincent had a quiet fondness for plants. Once as a child, he managed to plot in the family garden, but he was asked to stop by the gardener after all he tended to withered. It seems he was born with a black thumb, an astonishing capacity for discouraging plants from growth. Throughout his life, he tried to care for little specimens. Flowers, herbs, even cacti failed, no matter what affection he put to their nurture. In time, he yielded, instead choosing to commission a local artist to paint his favorite flower. Note to life that could not decay. Yet looking closely at the image, you note the petals are just starting to brown. Oof. I'm gonna leave it to the niece. Flower Mandius. Oh boy. Uh-oh, there's the figure. I remember being more spooked when I played this. So is this the guy who's looking in? Is this a ghost? Is that guy a ghost? I don't know. What the? Oh, that's the rain. Whoa, that's bright. Jeez. Oh, is this just supposed to be like... Because this is the same room, I think. Is this just supposed to be like a power outage? Where did that thing go? Let's see here. Where are you going, Dot? What is that thing? Let us see. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. I do not know why I am singing this. I do not know why I am singing. I don't know why I'm singing this. And my voice went way too high. Alrighty. I honestly just really like exploring this room and having to, I don't know, deal with lighter. Maybe I'm weird, but why does it keep not? Alright, the scroll wheel doesn't do anything. At least not right now. I just, for some reason, tried. I love having to hold this down. Maybe I should address the tree that is sitting in the room. I should address the tree in the room. Alrighty. Whoa! Wow, that is a sharp-shifting palette. Jeez! Interesting. I hope that that's an intentional part of the gameplay. What are these things? A wine glass slipped gracefully to the floor. bursting into shimmering shards of rose-red tide. Cabernet soaked into the thick Turkish fabric of the hall carpet. The guest turned to consider the clumsy host. His forehead was in his hand, his skin white as ivory. Tears ran down his face and arm, though he remained silent. Eliza rose from her seat and went to his side. "Are you well, Tobias?" He shook his head. "And take your father to his chambers." A young woman grabbed the man and dragged him out of the door. The room remained quiet as the guests heard their slow thumping progress up the stairs. "Do you think your husband will be joining us for dinner?" an acquaintance of Tobias asked as the gathering returned to its conversation. Eliza smiled reassuringly. "Oh, I am sure of it." The man nodded and returned to his assembled clique on the far side of the hall. A teenage boy cautiously approached Eliza. "Is there anything I can do to help?" he asked. Eliza glared at her son. "If it had been expected of you to speak, Stephen, I would have left the room." "Screw you." All right. What time am I at? Also, I wonder if how's the encoding been going? Not super well. 36 minutes. All right, that's a good place to stop for now, Steam viewers. I might do another one of these later today, depending on what is happening. One more of that awesome sepia effect. Oh, hey, sweet. Semi-diegetic. Sweet. All right. We're gonna go with no for now, just because I want to finish the. I want to play this out with actually something that you guys can, the USC viewers can look at. So, thank you for watching. If you like the video, give it a like. If you want to see more of the video, if you want to see some more videos, get notified. I got a lot of these really niche little gothic stuff that I want to show off. So you can subscribe and ring the bell to get notified of that. There are other things you can. Oh yeah, thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. All those things help with the algorithm. I'd really appreciate it if you could help me out here. Twitter and Letterboxd in the description below, and if you want to go buy Betweenside, which I would highly recommend that you do, I'll put a link to that in the Steam link to that to the Steam page in the description as well. Yeah, I think that should be everything. Alright, Steam viewers, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.